Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It is currently about 8 o'clock on Friday right now. I'm starting a weekend reading vlog because I don't really have any plans this weekend. I feel like I say that literally every weekend. I do things, I just don't plan them ahead of time. So maybe I will do something this weekend, but I don't have anything planned. So as of right now, my plans are to read. So in my last video, I did a little bit of a book haul. I ordered some books from Amazon and I showed you guys what books I got. One of those books was Daisy Jones and the Six. So this is going to be the first book that I'm going to read this weekend. The only reason I really picked up this book is honestly because I've just heard so many things. Obviously there's a TV show about it and it's just a really well-known book and I haven't gotten around to it. I also really do enjoy Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing style. I think I've only read a couple other of her books, but I did really like them. So I thought I'd give this one a shot. I also did have a hold on the audiobook for it and it just became available, so I have it borrowed now. So I figured I'd just pick it up before that expires. I honestly don't really have a ton of expectations. This is going to be, I think, a good transition book because I did just finish reading Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home. And if you watched my last vlog, you know that that book absolutely destroyed me. And I'm still processing it. I just finished it earlier today. And I know that if I were to go into another book that I really wanted to try to enjoy, I don't think I'd be as invested into another new book. Daisy Jones and the Six is good because I think it's going to be a little bit of a lighter read, I think. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'm just setting myself up for failure. If you don't know what this book is about, it's written in interview style, so when you're reading it, there's different... Basically, this woman has interviewed the band members from Daisy Jones and the Six, and it's broken up between what each different band member is saying in these interviews. And it's essentially just about Daisy Jones and the Six, a band back in the late 60s, and how they came together, their careers, and eventually how they ended up breaking up. So yeah, not any super high expectations. I think it'll just be an easy read. I'm not expecting myself to be obsessed with it necessarily. Not much to say about it so far, but I'm gonna continue reading that. I think the audiobook for it is only 9 hours and I'm listening to it at 2 times speed, so it should be a fairly quick read. I may even finish it tonight, potentially, depending on how late I'm able to stay up. But either way, I'll probably just honestly update you guys tomorrow or whenever I finish this book, and then I'll let you know my thoughts and what I'm gonna pick up next.
Come a little closer, I wanna dance with you. Everything's moving slower, I don't know what it is you do. I've been looking at you all night, trying to figure you out. I just wanna make you smile. Hold your hand in my hand, looking at the sunset. Man, you're looking good tonight. I wanna kiss you before the sun goes down. It's what you...
Hello friends. So it is the next day. I have finished Daisy Jones and the Six. It was a super quick read. I finished the last hour or so of the audiobook this morning, but I think in total it maybe took about 5 hours to get through the whole thing. Ended up rating it 3.5 stars. I can understand why people would absolutely love it and give it 5 stars. I can also understand why it was made into a TV show. And I think, I do still want to watch the show because I think as a TV show, you'd really get the whole picture. Obviously, with the way that it was written, it just made me feel like it was interesting. And it made me feel like how I feel when I watch a documentary. That being said, I didn't feel super connected to the characters on a deep or emotional level at all. So maybe that also influenced my experience. I mean, like I said, I enjoyed it. It was interesting, but it was like middle of the road for me. I probably won't think about this book much now that I'm done it. It was a good transition book. It was a good quick read. It was interesting. It was fast paced. So yeah, finished that one. And I think next I am going to pick up A Natural History of Dragons, a memoir by Lady Trent. I think this one is also just going to be, it's quite a bit shorter than a lot of the books that I've been reading lately. I think it's just over 300 pages or so. I think it's supposed to be like a cozy fantasy sort of book. So I think it'll also be kind of a good transition. I don't really know what it's about, to be honest. I'm kind of going into it blind. All I know is that Katie is recently read it and she really enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm gonna get started on this. I don't know when I'll check back in, depending on how this is going. If something interesting happens, then I'll check in, or if I have any thoughts that I feel like sharing, I'll check back in. Otherwise, I don't know. Hello guys, happy Tuesday. So I did, this is upside down, I did end up finishing A Natural History of Dragons last night. I liked it. It was good. I gave it 4 stars. It was definitely, I mean, obviously it's a fictional book because it's about dragons, but it was definitely, it gave more of like a literary fiction or like a cozy fantasy vibe with a little bit of mystery in there as well, which I really liked. It added another level to the story, but it was good. It was a nice, like, light-hearted read. I didn't have to think too much about it. Obviously it wasn't super high stakes. Yes, there was a little bit of death in it just because people were getting eaten by dragons. But it was good. I enjoyed it. It wasn't like it didn't give that 5-star feeling for me. It wasn't super exciting. I like things, my 5-star reads are usually a little bit more gripping, a little bit more action packed, and this was definitely more of a cozy, light-hearted vibe, which I think I did kind of need right now in between all the other books that I'm reading. I would say if you like historical fiction, you'd probably like it. I've heard a lot of people actually compare it to Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. It gives that similar sort of like academic vibe, and I think part of that is because it's written in like a memoir kind of format, so that was cool. I think there's like 4 or 5 more books that come after this, so I'll probably pick them up here and there. I'm not itching to go read the next one, but I think they would be good books to kind of spread out between other books when I need something a little bit shorter, chiller. But yeah, I liked it. So yeah, I finished that book last night, and then this morning I moved on to From Blood and Ash. There's about 60 pages into this book, so this is my next read. I'm gonna continue reading this for the evening. Jesse is going out for some like poker bike ride thing. I don't really know what exactly is going on, but he's going out tonight, so I have the house to myself. So I'm gonna read as I usually do, even when he is here. That's what I do, I read. Not much to say about it this far into it. I've heard really good things, so I'm excited to see where this heads. Oh, And we get a visit from the dog. Hi, Tess. I can't remember what I was saying. We've gotten a little bit of spice about 60 pages in, but other than that, not a whole lot to say about it. So far, I will say this is supposed to be an adult fantasy book, but it kind of reads more like young adult. Just the style of writing to me is a bit more YA, but I think the content is going to be more adult oriented. I will continue reading this and let you know what I think. Hi guys, so it is a few days later. I am still reading From Blood and Ash. I'm currently on page 402, and things are just now starting to get interesting, honestly. The first half of this book, in my opinion, the pacing was just a little bit off. Right in the beginning, it was super interesting, and then it died down for a good chunk until now, basically. So a little over halfway through the book now. If you've read this book and you know what happens at around page 400,
Hello.
shit's getting real. I'm liking it. I think I'll probably like the rest of the book more now. I just found the relationship between Hawk and Poppy, it kick-started pretty early on in the book, and then you didn't see Hawk for a while, and then all of a sudden he's back. He becomes Poppy's guard. You could tell that there was tension, but I don't really know where the tension came from. I don't know if I see a ton of chemistry between them. I don't know. They didn't have enough conversations for me to believe that they were as into each other as they were. I think it was just a lust thing. I assume that their connection will grow as we continue on. I'm not really connecting with the characters, and I don't quite believe the connections between the characters. So that's why the first bit was okay, I could honestly take or leave it. If the book were to end now, I mean, it would end on a cliffhanger, so I'd need to read the next book anyways. But if it were to end now, I'd be yeah, it was an okay book. I'd probably give it 3 stars at this point. We'll see what happens within the last 200 pages, 200-ish pages here. That is my plan. I'm gonna finish this book, and then I'll give you guys an update, and I'll let you know what I'm gonna pick up next.
It's what you're doing, making me feel like I'm falling. And when you're moving, I can hear my calling. There's no one else here that I see but you. It's what you're doing that's making me feel like I'm falling. Yeah, I'm falling in love. You set my wheels in motion.
Hi guys, so it is a few days later. I wanted to do a little update for From Blood and Ash. I have obviously finished it now. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. I did like it, but I feel like it could have been shorter. I feel like it could have been 200 pages shorter at least. But I mean, it was still good. I still want to read the rest of the books in the series, so eventually. They're not super high on my priority list, but I do want to get to them eventually. But I did like it. There was actually a lot of similarities I noticed between this book and Serpent and the Wings of Night. If you've read both of them, you probably know what I mean, but especially the ending of this book. I mean, I know this one was written before The Serpent and the Wings of Night, I'm pretty sure, but there was quite a few key similarities, which is always interesting. I mean, they weren't similar storylines at all, but there was some aspects of the story that were similar. Even one of the names of the characters was the same, and he had the same relationship to one of the characters. Anyways, I just thought that was interesting. It makes me wonder if maybe Carissa Broadbent got some inspiration for her book from this one. I don't know. Anyways, yeah. just wanted to give that update. So we started this video reading Daisy Jones and the Six, and then we read the Natural or A Natural History of Dragons, and then From Blood and Ash. Since filming the last videos, I did end up getting Daisy Hates the Great Undoing in the mail. So I'm actually currently reading that. That is for next week's video. So yeah, I think I'm gonna leave this video on that. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys in my next video.